visible, to unveil. John saw the structure of the upper pleroma directly, and what he saw later became the foundation of the cryptic visions in the Apocalypse, the book we call Revelation, which contains fragments of this transmission encoded in symbolic language because the literal account had to be hidden. To Thomas, the questioner, the doubter, Jesus gave something else. He gave him the doctrine of the inner twin, the teaching that every soul has a higher counterpart, a divine double, a self that did not descend with it into the world. Thomas, whose name in Aramaic literally means twin, became the carrier of this teaching, and you can find traces of it in the Gospel of Thomas found at Nag Hammadi. The opening line of that Gospel says, "These are the secret words which the living Jesus spoke, not the public ones, the secret ones. And they were given in those days to Peter, the impulsive one, the one who had denied him 3 times. Jesus gave something harder. He gave him the responsibility of structure, the outer church, the visible institution. Not because Peter was the most spiritual of the disciples, but because Peter was the most useful for what would have to be built on the surface to protect what was hidden underneath." The text is almost mournful when it describes this assignment. Peter would carry the weight of the public form, while John and Thomas and Mary would carry the inner content. And to Mary Magdalene, in those middle days, Jesus gave the deepest transmission of all. He gave her the knowledge of the death passage, the exact procedure by which the soul leaves the body, encounters the rulers of each sphere, presents the seals and the names, and ascends or fails to ascend, depending on what it remembers. The Coptic text preserves the names, it preserves the seals, it preserves the words the soul must speak at each gate, and Mary was the one who wrote them down. This is why so many of you, watching this right now, have felt for years that you were given a task you cannot name, that there is something you carry that does not belong to this world. The text validates this directly. It says that the disciples who received the private farewells were not chosen because they were better than the others. They were chosen because they had agreed, before incarnating, to carry specific knowledge through this life. Each one had a contract. Each one had a fragment, and the 40 days were the activation of those contracts. If you have ever sensed that you came here for something specific, that ordinary life feels like wearing clothes that do not fit, that there is a transmission inside you waiting for the right key, you are not imagining it. The Pistis Sophia speaks of you, not by name, but by structure. The text says there are souls scattered across every age who carry the seals of the inner church, and they recognize each other not by belief, but by resonance. But the farewells were not the end. The most important moment of the 40 days had not yet arrived. The ascension itself, the moment Jesus left the physical plane, is described in the Pistis Sophia in a way that contradicts everything the canonical Bible suggests. And what really happened on the 40th day is what comes next. The canonical Gospels describe the ascension as a clean upward movement. Jesus rises, a cloud receives him, the disciples watch, end of scene. 2 angels appear and tell them to stop staring at the sky. Acts chapter 1, verses 9 through 11. Less than 3 sentences for the most cosmologically significant event in the entire narrative. The Pistis Sophia gives a different account, and the difference changes everything. According to the Coptic manuscript, on the morning of the 40th day, Jesus did not simply rise, he performed a procedure. The text describes him gathering the disciples in a precise configuration, 12 points around a central position, with Mary at the eastern point. He spoke specific words in a language the manuscript identifies as the tongue of the aeons, syllables that are preserved phonetically in the Coptic text. And then, before ascending, he did something the canonical Gospels never mention. He named what he was about to do. He told them he was not leaving. He told them the ascension was not a departure, it was a redistribution. The text uses an extraordinary phrase. He said, "I will be with you in the manner that the light is with the air, not above it, within it, surrounding it." The same way Sophia, after her return, was not separate from the pleroma but woven into its structure. Jesus was describing his own process of becoming non-local, of dissolving the physical form so that the consciousness it carried could be present everywhere at once, accessible to anyone who knew how to call it. This is why the Gnostic teaching insists that Christ is not a person to be worshipped from below, but a presence to be activated from within. The ascension was not a removal, it was a phase change. And every soul that carries a fragment of the original light has direct access to that presence at any moment, in any place, without intermediary, without institution, without permission. The church that came later inverted this completely. It put itself between the soul and the Christ. It became the gate. But the gate is false. The gate was never meant to exist. And then comes the line that has haunted every reader who has worked through the Pistis Sophia. Just before he completed the procedure, Jesus turned to Mary Magdalene and said, "In the days that come, my words will be twisted, the mysteries will be sealed. Those who hold the keys will hide them, and those who do not will claim them. But the seals are not lost. They are within the souls who agreed to carry them. And when the hour appointed comes, the seals will open of themselves, and the inner church will be remembered." The hour appointed. That is the phrase. The text does not specify a date. It specifies a condition, a threshold, a moment when enough souls have awakened to the deception that the seals release automatically. Many Gnostic readers across centuries have argued that this hour is now, not because of prophecy, because of pattern. The texts buried in the desert have surfaced. The manuscripts, hidden for 1,500 years, are translated. Information that was the property of secret schools is on screens in millions of pockets. The hour appointed has the shape of this exact moment. And the final teaching of the 40 days, the one Jesus left as a key for those who would come long after the disciples were gone, was simple. He said, "Do not seek me in the temples. Do not seek me in the books that men have approved. Seek me in the silence between thoughts, in the breath that has no name, in the recognition that flashes when you read what you already knew. There I am. There the mysteries are. There the path of return begins." If today was the day you realized that the fragments of Christianity you were given as a child were never the whole story, that the silence after the resurrection was a deletion, that the 40 days you were never told about contained the actual map, then something inside you has just turned. The same turning Mary made when she stepped forward while the others trembled. The same turning Sophia made when she uttered the first repentance from the chaos. The same turning every soul makes when it remembers it was never lost, only forgotten. The fragments are over. And if today was the day you realized the fragments are over, the ancient code is waiting. The complete initiation. Pinned comment. I will see you in the next awakening.